Hello to all the lovers out there. Welcome to Thriving Relationships with Jessica Hartley. We are here live at the KHTS studio in beautiful downtown Santa Clarita. And we are here every Wednesday at 2 p.m. on AM 1220 or 98.1 FM. I'm your host, Jessica Hartley, relationship coach and founder of the Legendary Love program. And if you're like me, it's not enough to just get by in your relationship trying to make it work. You want a relationship that thrives, something to show up for that feels fun, passionate, respectful, and deeply connected. And you're willing to do what it takes to create that kind of relationship in your life. That's why I dedicated myself, my relationship, my education, my research to identifying exactly what it takes to create a thriving relationship. And what I found out is that there are 6 essential elements that thriving relationships have that everyone else does not. And these relationships that are failing are the ones that they didn't have a successful model to follow. And I put all of this into a program, and I gave you a step-by-step course, an action plan to go from even the brink of divorce to thriving in long-lasting love. And so I'm here to tell you that you don't have to walk away from this relationship just because it got hard. If you've lost connection, you can find it. If it lacks intimacy and passion, you can cultivate it. If you can't communicate, you can learn the language. And if there's just too much pain, you can heal it. Because there is nothing else better out there for you than this opportunity to grow and integrate the elements that work. The relationships that are failing only fail because they choose ignorance over dedication and growth. So stop waiting for your partner to meet you halfway. That is a dependent model of love, and it just doesn't work. There's a better way, and it starts with you. The Legendary Love program is revolutionizing how we heal our relationships and set them up to last. It's a step-by-step course that goes from the most direct path to thriving in love and lasting love. I'm not just talking about something that works, something that feels good, even momentarily. We're talking about lasting, strong connection. You can check it out for yourself at jessicahartley.com/program. And from there, you can book an appointment with me, or you can just give me a call at 661-347-8473. So today on the show, we're going to talk all about the Desire to Destiny formula, which is something that I created to help my clients to really cultivate on an energetic level with intention, with resolution, and with action to create the kind of relationship that they really want. So we've been talking the past couple weeks all about what it takes to create this kind of intention and resolution with action. And today on the show, we're going to give it all into a culmination and to put it all together into a simple 6-step formula. And today on my show, I have a guest who is actually calling in from Hawaii today, where it's sunny, and she is a longtime friend of mine. We went to school together, we went to college together. And this is Katie Shaw. She is a master manifester in my eyes. She is extremely good at creating the things that she wants in her life, and she's going to share her bits of wisdom with you guys and let you know from her perspective some of those elements. And she's also a healing retreat leader and a fitness and yoga instructor as well. So Katie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jess. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you today, and it's great to hear your voice, and I love your work so much. Your insights, your wisdoms, and your methods are just so incredible and always life-changing. So thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this today with you.
Well, of course, I wouldn't have it any other way. You're the first person that came to my mind when I was thinking of who to bring on the show today. So let's share with the listeners who you are and what how amazing you are at manifesting. That's what I want to know. That's what they want to know. So can you share a little bit about, well, let's just start off with what you do. You're over in Hawaii right now.
Yes.
What's it like over there?
It's beautiful. It's amazing. I'm so blessed and so grateful to live here, and I currently teach yoga and meditation and run retreats, and I live with my husband and daughter on the east side, and it's just very tranquil and beautiful and peaceful. And
So tell us about your story, because you didn't always live on Hawaii, and when you and I were in school together, that was a dream of yours. So tell me a little bit about how you manifested Hawaii and the love of your life.
Sure thing. I'm so glad you asked this question, because it's one of my favorite manifesting moments. So I had lived in Hawaii years ago and had always wanted to come back. After leaving, I just felt like my heart was still here. I felt like my person was still here, and I just always felt really called to come back. And so I knew that life had a plan for me, and as it does for all of us. And I think that it's just listening and tuning into those moments of when we're being guided. So what had happened was living and working in Los Angeles, and I was already working for a title company at the time, and the company had closed, and one of my girlfriends that I was working with was just bringing me to interviews with her, and we were both just checking out other career opportunities and things, and I wanted to do something like exciting and adventurous, and so I thought was taking me to an interview for jet planes, but when we got in the car, she was like, "Oh no, this one is for cruise ships. Do you have your resume?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay, sure." So I brought it, went to the interview. It was for the Hawaiian Islands. They hired me on the spot. I was like, I don't really feel that this is my life's calling necessarily to work on this ship, but I do feel like life is calling me to get on this ship. So within a few months, I had gone into training and was on this ship, and I saw the sunrise from the center of the ocean one morning, and I knew I needed to get off the boat. I didn't know why, and I didn't know anybody, if anybody I knew was on the island, or but I listened, and I got off the ship, and I met my husband that same day getting off the boat, and it was his birthday, and his roommate had brought over a cake for him, and on the cake was a sticker that said "handcrafted by Katie." And he said that as he was leaving his house, he was putting the cake in the fridge, and before leaving was, "I wonder if I'll meet a Katie tonight," in the back of his mind. And so we met that night. We went swimming, we climbed a tree, we talked until sunrise, and then I went back with him, and he gave me the sticker to the cake, and he had told me about the story, and I still have it in my journal. And we've been together ever since, and we have a beautiful daughter and a home and a beautiful life now. And yeah, it was all just listening to that inner guidance of knowing that I needed to get off the ship that day. But also, one thing that has happened that I felt was really significant in this manifestation was that my relationship beforehand, I had a clattering, and when we were together, I would turn the heart towards me, and when we were apart, I would turn the heart away from me. We would go kind of back and forth of our relationship, of being together and not. And when we were together, I would feel so in love, and like everything was making sense and connected and beautiful. And then when we were apart, I would feel this sadness, like I was cut off from love. And what I realized with turning this ring around was that my love was my own, that regardless of whether or not I was in this relationship or this person was in my life, my heart could face me, and the friendship and loyalty and love was something I carried within me, and I didn't have to depend on anyone else for it. And so I had affirmed inside of myself that instead of being in love, I was going to live in love. And coming into that space inside of myself, I felt opened the gateways for who I was meant to be with to come into my life. And that was one of the first conversations we had ever had when he asked me if I'd ever been in love with somebody. And I explained to him that I lived in love, that my love didn't depend on somebody. And it wasn't that there was this one that I was looking for. It was that we're all one, we're all connected. And I think that the people that we are assigned to in our relationships are the ones who are going to teach us whatever it is inside of ourselves that we have separated ourselves from love. So our soulmates are really the people who are going to help us come into truly what love is, and sometimes it's not like the movies.
Yeah.
It's work, and it's beautiful work, and I think that what you do as facilitating people through the relationship process is probably the most important job in the universe, because it's not easy, but it's important. And if we can stick through it and not blame the other person for whatever it is that happens, then we're always coming into deeper and deeper love together and within ourselves. So
Absolutely.
thank you.
Thank you. So I love, so a couple of things that you hit on is that, number one, you manifested how this big dream that you wanted to live in Hawaii. And then you also manifested the relationship that you were looking for and all of that. And so one of the things that I think your story really hits on or highlights is this crazy leap of faith that you had at that moment to get off the boat and stay on the island. Can you tell me about what was going through your mind at that time? What did it feel like? Because I know that a lot of people do struggle between wanting to listen to their intuition or their inner guidance, and then also letting fear get in the way, and practicality get in the way, and responsibility sometimes even to get in the way. So tell me, what was that like from your perspective?
So what I find when it comes to taking those big leaps in life, and what sounds logical inside of our minds, and then what pulls at our heartstrings to wherever it is we're needing to go, is really listening, tuning in to what it feels like, and what lens you're looking through, and what voice is speaking. Is this a voice of fear? Is this a voice of truth? Is, you know what I mean? And just really processing whatever it is that happens throughout the decision. I like to try and focus my mind on just one word that brings me peace, or a mantra like I'm trusting, I'm loving, I'm listening, something that just calms everything down so that I can center and listen to whether or not it's fear or if it's guidance. And I think that when it's love, and when our spirit is essentially pulling us somewhere, it feels like our minds kind of can't get in the way. Like when I was getting off the boat that day, I felt like love was running my feet. As weird as that sounds, I felt this movement and this life and this energy and this joy and this excitement, like something big was about to happen, and I didn't know what. I just needed to go, and I just surrendered into that and ran. And
you trusted that feeling.
Right, exactly. And I find that when I have listened to that guidance is when life has opened up into a beautiful new chapter, and it's always talking to us, and we all have that ability to really listen.
Yeah.
And
So
yeah.
let's just break it down for anyone who's curious, because I think this is something that all of us struggle with, because we do know that the heart is meant to guide us and the brain is a tool of the heart. It's just another resource of the wisdom of our heart. But we haven't been conditioned in how to think with our heart or how to act from our heart. And so that's something that I think in this generation, we're starting to learn what that looks like, what that feels like, especially in relationship. This is something that comes up so much. So the difference between intuition and inner guidance, or thinking with the heart, versus thinking through fear or practicality, or what others are thinking, or things like that. Fears, there's a very big differences between the two, and I think you touched on some of those. So one of the things to tell the difference is that the heart feels like it wants to get off the boat, or that it wants to go in this direction, and the mind, it thinks and analyzes, and usually overanalyzes things. So when and the feeling behind that is, it's an expansive feeling. When you're in your intuition and in your heart, it feels expansive. It feels like growth. It feels like an open door. It feels like an opportunity. And the mind, it feels contracting. It feels like more about logic-based, controlling, restrictive, scared. You might feel like you're in your fight or flight and reacting out of protection or self-preservation. And then, also the state of action when you're in the heart is more present moment based. And the state of action when you're in the fear or in your mind is action based on what might happen in the future or what has already happened in the past. So it's not in the present moment. So these are some of the things that are really great to help you understand and start to step into allowing yourself to be heart-led, because that runs through all of this. If you want to create the relationship that you want, we have to allow ourselves to be heart-led and to go from there. Also, the other thing too is that when we're in our hearts, it feels, it's like a gentle inkling. It doesn't feel like a strong emotional charge. When you feel a strong emotional charge, and it's usually negative, that is your mind. That is your mind trying to protect you. But intuition is like a gentle little nudge, an inkling. It's like, it's not emotional, it's just like an inner knowing. Would you agree with that, Katie?
Yes, absolutely. It feels very gentle, and also it's like a matter of following the signs, because when we're being guided by intuition, there's a very clear path that's paved, and it's like just really listening to your inner guidance system in those moments of when you do choose to start to follow the voice of your heart. Like, for example, the night that I met my husband, I had gone and I had started to go to one area, and then I heard music in another area, and I wanted to go be near the music. So I followed the music, and then that's where he was. And it's just like those little kinds of, I don't know if that would be a synchronicity, but following the synchronicities of how the path is being paved, and just really trusting that we are, always being guided.
Yeah.
By a greater love.
Also in my own experience, I feel like whenever I hear a phrase or a person's name comes up, more than once, or, something like that, that's something to pay attention to. Whenever I notice the patterns, or like this is being said over and over again. Okay, there's something behind that. There's something there for me to look into more. That's part of my path. I need to call that person, or I need to move forward somewhere in some way in this direction. I don't know where, I don't know how, I just know that this is the direction I need to go. So yeah, synchronicities are part of it as well. Okay, so what we're going to do is go ahead and take a little break, and on the other side of that, we're going to talk exactly about this 6-step formula, the Desire to Destiny formula, and bring everything together. So we'll see you very soon right after the break.
There's a classic diner in town that combines old-fashioned dining with a hip 21st century menu. They call it trendy nostalgia. They call it Kathy's Deli. Kathy's Deli is a classic diner. Homemade jams, freshly baked breads, and even unique flavored coffee creamers made on site. Experience the fresh, new, yet old-fashioned taste of your local hometown diner. Serving traditional and unique breakfast and lunch delights every day from 7 to 3. Kathy's Deli on Lyons Avenue off Wayman Court.
Hey guys, this is Cardinellis, host of Problem Solver Politics. Are you the kind of person that demands to know the facts and truth behind politics instead of just hearing the same old rehearsed talking points? If so, then I got the show for you. Problem Solver Politics is an independent political talk show that interviews expert guests on real issues, both local and national. Our show holds Republican and Democrats' feet to the fire and puts problem solving before party politics. Trigger warning, this is bare knuckle boxing on air, so snowflakes need not apply. Join us Sundays at 7 p.m.
Drug and alcohol use can lead to troubles at school or work, relationship problems, financial or legal difficulties, medical and psychiatric issues. I'm Bob Sheritz, the host of the Way Out Recovery Hour, airing every Monday at noon. The Way Out Recovery Hour features prominent guests and organizations discussing the epidemic of drugs and alcohol in our valley. Don't miss the Way Out Recovery Hour every Monday at noon. Asking for help is the first step. There is the way out.
Facey knows life gets busy. Let us go to work for you in the Santa Clarita Valley. We have 34 primary care physicians and 55 specialty doctors in 4 offices. And Facey has easy 24/7 online appointment scheduling for PCPs and PEDS with some extended hour appointments available. We are Facey Medical Group. Let us go to work for you today. For more information or to make an appointment, visit facey.com. That's FACEY.com.
Pure Birth's Pregnancy and Wellness is Santa Clarita's newest birth center, offering holistic prenatal care, water births, labor and delivery, and postpartum care. Owned and operated by California Medical Board licensed midwife Tiffany Gallo, who has been serving expected families in the SCV for over a decade. Pure Births is also a Medi-Cal birth center. If you want to experience a natural birth with the freedom to birth your way in a safe and professional environment, contact Pure Births on Tournament Road near McBean, purebirths.com.
Your hometown station.
As soon as I leave my house in Saugus, I always turn on KHTS for the latest traffic updates.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back, everyone, to Thriving Relationships with Jessica Hartley. So we've been talking with Katie Shaw, and she has been telling us all about her story and some of the things that she's manifested and how intuition and following her inner guidance has been one of the most important, crucial steps of how successful she is at creating the things that she wants to create into reality in her life. So, Katie, thank you again for being on the show. She's calling in from Hawaii right now, where it's sunny. Aloha.
Aloha.
So right now we're going to just jump right into the Desire to Destiny formula, something I've been wanting to share with you guys. It's the culmination of everything we've been talking about in these past 2 weeks, and really brings together in a very simple, easy to use process for you to start integrating into your life. And I'll let you in on a little secret. Even though that I am teaching this about manifesting relationships, this is so much more than that. You can use this formula for really anything that you would like to create in your life because it works. It includes all of the essential elements. And my intention with it is to really help us to start to get intentional about being the authors of our own experience, because we're not a victim in this world. We have more power and capacity and resolve and will to create the things that we would like in our life. And one of our biggest roadblocks to that is just our ignorance, our not knowing how to do it. And so that's what I am here to share with you today. So the first step, which is simple, step one, is to know what your intention is. I said this on 2 weeks ago, and in that I said, if you write down 3 things that you want to create in your relationship, make them very bold outcome goals, very bold, go big, write them down, and know what your intention is. Be aware of what you're asking for. Okay, so that's clear, simple, easy. Step 1, got it, done it. Okay, step 2, this is a little bit hard now, is that you have to accept where you're at right now. Okay, because most of the time, what we've been doing wrong in this step is avoiding this altogether, and we immediately judge where we're at right now. Instead of accepting and loving with compassion and even trust in the place that you're at right now, and instead of doing that, we're judging it. We're calling it wrong. We're judging ourselves for not being where we wanted to be by now. We're judging the circumstance of our lives, or we're judging our partner for whatever they're doing in the relationship that's creating the circumstance or the experience that we're both feeling right now. Or perhaps we're judging our past, maybe some of the childhood conditions that we grew up in, and now we have to deal with some of these wounds or some of the outcomes of that. And the thing is that all of this is orchestrated and even designed for your upliftment. Every experience is designed to uplift and grow you. So instead of judging it, it is so important to accept where you are at now. You don't have to pretend that it doesn't exist. You don't have to judge it. You just love where you're at right now. I've also heard the phrase that, well, I'm feeling frustrated, but you know what? I love it. It's part of where I'm at right now. So you can feel whatever it is in the blank in that sentence, but I love it. But I love it. But I accept it. It's where I'm at right now. This doesn't mean that you're going to stay here. See, that's what gets people, is because they think that if I accept it, then it means I'm going to stay here. But that's not the case. No, because growth is our natural tendency. So if I accept it, then I allow it to keep growing. Katie, what do you have to say on this step?
Yes, acceptance is definitely key and the only way to open up and to move forward into whatever the next phase is, whatever it is you're ready to create. First, you have to be right where you are, and then the creating comes from what feels good from there, coming into full acceptance of who you are and where you are, and then having a clear vision of what you see for yourself with your partner, with your life, and having those thoughts start to formulate from a good feeling place of accepting where you are.
Yes, and that's key, because see, if I'm judging where I'm at right now, then I'm not in a good feeling place. Then I'm in a bad feeling place. Then I'm in desperation. Then I'm in need. Then I'm in resentment. Then I'm in blame. And all of those things just either block what we want or create more of what we don't want. So we have to eliminate that energy by loving where we're at right now, accepting it, and to just even have gratitude for the struggle that you're in right now, because it's an opportunity to grow you into where you want to be. So this is key, guys. Do not skip this step. This is at the core here. Once you create the intention, next step is to accept, love, bless, have gratitude for where you're at right now. Okay, so step 3 is to feel as if. This means, in other words, act the part. It means be the model. It means think about where would you be if you already had exactly what it was that you wanted? How would you act? What would it feel like? What would you do? What would you say? and then to really step into moving through those actions and those feelings and those reactions and that sort of sense of peace that accompanies a fulfilled, good feeling, happy kind of life, right? So again, we're cultivating more of this good feeling. Katie, I know that this is one of the pieces that you do a lot when you manifest. So please go ahead and expand on that.
Yes, I love this one of stepping fully into it. Visioning exercises are really good for this. There's a meditation that I listen to very frequently, and it is called I Am That I Am, and it's from Dr. Wayne Dyer from His Wishes Fulfilled. He did research and found this meditation where it's the harmonics to I Am That I Am. You can download it on YouTube and just listen to it, even just laying in bed and just visioning whatever it is you're wanting to create. Sometimes visions will come of that you didn't even know you wanted to create, and then they will happen. It's a really powerful meditation to listen to. And yes, stepping fully into it and feeling it fully alive inside of yourself. Like, how do you laugh? If this is coming into manifestation, who's around you? How do you carry yourself? What does your voice sound like? Really getting clear on even specific detail. What shoes are you wearing? What does ground feel like beneath your feet? Like really allowing it all to be, if it's a soulmate that you're calling in, what does their voice sound like? What does their arms feel like around you? And just, spending time in those thoughts and with that person that you're ready to receive, because they're most likely ready to receive you. So once you start to bring them into your reality is when you start to create the space for them to walk in.
Yeah. And, like you are really highlighting getting down to the details of it even,
Right.
What does their, if you're lying in bed, what does their soul feel like next to you? Some of the things like that. And, most of my listeners are already married, so it's a relationship that they want to make better that they're in. Or they're already in relationship. So how do I heal this? Well, what does it feel like when your partner does feel connected to you? What does that feel like? What does it feel like when you do feel emotionally nurtured, when you feel understood, when you can easily communicate, when you can move through conflict easily? What does that feel like? What do you do in your day? Do you go out of your way for your partner to do little things that light up their life? What are your actions? And to really hone in on that and to follow through with some of those things. Beautiful.
Right.
Okay, so the next step is to trust and detach. This is another one that I think we often forget and gets in the way of our ability to really bring forward what we want to create, is this ability to detach from the outcome. So we've set into motion, okay, here are the things that I want to create. Here are my bold outcomes. Now, I'm telling you to let go of them. Okay, so this might seem counterintuitive, but it is just the next step, because we can only understand how something can come about with the ways that we know how it could come about. We don't have access to all of the vast of the paths out there. We don't have access to that. So we have to just trust that the best person, if it's a different person, or the best way that your partner will learn to, will come into greater connection with you, or the best way that you will come into greater connection with your partner, all will be revealed to you. But you just have to trust and detach and then listen, so detach from the outcome, from the how, from the when. Sometimes we need that when. Let go of any of those needs, you guys. We cannot be in need. Let go of those needs. And just trust that it will come in the perfect timing, for the highest good of all concerned, for the best good of yourself, for the best good of them, the person that you're bringing in, or your spouse, for the best good of for your kids. You've got to trust into that and really feel it, and then just let go of those outcomes. What would you say, Katie?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Trusting is huge, and it's also probably one of the most difficult parts of the process, because there is inclination based on, past experience or different things that can build throughout life, where we find where we come up to this place of that it's up to me, that we need to figure it out, and that's where the mind can get in the way. Mm-hmm. So I think a great thing to do for trusting is even just to write on your mirror, on your Post-it, and look yourself in the eyes and say, I am trusting, I am loving, anything is possible, and just really affirming inside of yourself that you can fully trust in your partner, in your life, in what life is ready to, open up for you, and whatever you're ready to create in your relationship, in your life together. Trust is huge, and it plays a part in everything, but it's a matter of trusting in our own hearts first, and then allowing that to let the outcome come as it may.
Yeah, it's like knowing that we've already created it, and it's already queued up for us. And it's just allowing it to show up in the perfect timing, in the perfect place for the highest good. I love that phrase. It's something that we both learned in school, is this or something better for the highest good of all concerned. That phrase really gets me through so much, because it just allows me, okay, totally, I can just let go. Absolutely. And then I could show up still feeling good, still feeling whole, still feeling complete. You touched on, I think in the beginning, how you were showing up whole and complete as you were, and not waiting for that partner to fulfill you. You already were love, and so it's, that's where, acting the part, I think, also taps into that piece of it. It's like the part of feeling totally fulfilled as you are. Where is that? How is that? Do that. Be that. Be whole and complete within yourself. And just remember, too, you guys, is that any action that you take should come from a place of openness and from fullness. Because if you do the opposite and you take action from a place of lack, meaning I don't have this, or I'm in fear, or this is not enough, and so therefore I'm doing this, then that always works against you. It's not going to propel you forward in the direction that you want. Your base is this good feeling place. Right.
That is where everything can come to fruition, is when we are planting the seeds inside of ourselves and watering them with growth and thoughts that feel good.
Yes.
And coming from a place of I wish I had this, or, woe is me, things will never be better, that will not create what we want. It will, exactly what you said, do the exact opposite. It's so important to anchor into what feels good and to create from that place of prosperity. Life is always trying to provide for us, and it's a beautiful creation. And I think that when we are co-creating with the love that breathes us, that beats our hearts, it helps, it wants us to feel good, and it can't hear us if we don't, in a sense.
Yes. Okay, so then the next two steps are a little bit more profound. There's something that I realized in my journey, and I just started really practicing them. They go hand in hand, but the first thing is to identify what your core experience that you desire is. Meaning, if it is a thriving relationship or a deep connection, for example, in your relationship that you would like to create or manifest, then what is the underlying core experience of that. So when you have deep connection, then you will have what? And then fill in the blank. What is it that you're really going for? Well, then I will have a sense of peace, or then I will have a sense of companionship, or then I will have a sense of wholeness, or then I will have, whatever it is that you fill in the blank with that is. Identify what your core experience is. So that's the first thing that you've got to do. And then you bring it into the last step, which is to find fulfillment now with that experience. So for example, if it's peace, that's your core experience. There are ways that you can nurture your peace right now. So then go create rituals that nurture and cultivate more peace in you right now. Okay? You don't need it from this one single path. That's not the only way for you to get your peace. So be aware of that. Second, if it's companionship, well, there are ways for you to nurture companionship right now. So again, however it is that you fill in the blank, create rituals around nurturing and filling that up so that you're already whole and complete now. It's not, it's not the boat that you need. It's the feeling of the wind in your hair, that you're really looking for. It's the feeling of freedom. It's the feeling of adventure. It's the feeling of trust. Whatever that core experience really is, there are plenty of ways for you to go nurture that. So stop tying into exactly that one way to get it. And then you have control over millions of other ways for you to nurture and get that piece into your experience. Katie, any thoughts on those two?
Yeah, I would say also in the finding fulfillment now, and even to tie into the core experience as well, is really weeding through your own inner dialogue about your relationship or about yourself or whatever it is, and finding anything that comes up that is not in service to what it is that you're trying to create, and not focusing on that, but finding a way of reframing whatever those thoughts are in order to come into a higher vibration of what it is that you're wanting to create. So in, finding fulfillment now, letting go of anything that is blocking fulfillment, even if it's a habit of, I don't know, so it's too much social media or something like that.
Yes.
That, is
right. Getting in tune
you.
with what's blocking you and removing those. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Perfect. Yep. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take our second break. This is Thriving Relationships. You're listening to your host, Jessica Hartley. We'll be right back to finish up our talk on manifesting from desire to destiny.
Your building sign is essential in getting customers to your location. Feathers can help get your business noticed. They walk you through each phase of your building sign project, providing special attention to detail and quality. Feathers will give you a sign you can be proud of. Your building sign will draw customers in instead of having them drive by. Feathers on Soledad in Canyon Country, across from the Edwards Theater. Or go to feathersphoto.com. That's feathersphoto.com.
KHTS strives to give the Santa Clarita Valley all the information they need. And when our computers aren't working the way they should, we call Resurgence, your true source for IT. Resurgence provides outstanding customer service while also providing the highest technical ability. They strive to do what is best to improve and protect your business. For more information on Resurgence, call 349-4114 or go to resurgenceit.com.
It's time for your special event. Kelly's Wedding Garden is your perfect spot. Kelly's has transformed weddings, anniversaries, company parties in the Santa Clarita Valley for decades. They have it all. Delicious food, a beautiful setting, plenty of room, and a team of professionals that can handle it all. Kelly's Wedding Garden just off the golf course in Friendly Valley. Weddings, bridal showers, bar mitzvahs, company parties, anniversaries, class reunions. Kelly's Wedding Garden is your Santa Clarita oasis for outstanding, memorable events. Discover how you can transform your event at kellysweddinggarden.com. That's kellysweddinggarden.com.
Men, are you feeling tired, stressed, or just don't have the energy you used to? Did you know this could be related to decreased testosterone levels? Luckily, there's a safe, effective solution. Weeder Prime helps support healthy testosterone levels with clinically tested key ingredients. Just 2 capsules of Weeder Prime each day can help change your mood, energy, focus, body fat, and lean muscle. Feel the way you felt 10, 20, even 30 years ago. Rediscover your Prime with Weeder Prime. To find a retailer near you, visit WeederPrime.com. That's WEIDER Prime.com.
You're going places, and College of the Canyons can help you get there. Registration is going on now for COC Spring Semester, which begins February 4th. Take classes in Valencia, Canyon Country, or online. Need to update your professional skills? Enroll in COC's free career skills classes, which each take only a week to complete. Visit canyons.edu/class schedule for a full list of spring classes. You're going places with College of the Canyons.
Pure Birth's Pregnancy and Wellness is Santa Clarita's newest birth center, offering holistic prenatal care, water births, labor and delivery, and postpartum care. Owned and operated by California Medical Board licensed midwife Tiffany Gallo, who has been serving expected families in the SCV for over a decade. Pure Births is also a Medi-Cal birth center. If you want to experience a natural birth with the freedom to birth your way in a safe and professional environment, contact Pure Births on Tournament Road near McBean, purebirths.com.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back to Thriving Relationships with Jessica Hartley. This is Jessica Hartley, your host, and we have been talking all about the Desire to Destiny formula. We have identified the 6 steps to create the kind of relationship that you want, whether it is creating and manifesting the relationship itself, or maybe you're in a relationship where you want to create a thriving relationship, one that feels connected, respectful, passionate, and fun. And so if you really want to create this, here is your process. In review, you want to write down your intention. You want to accept and not judge where you're at right now. You want to appreciate the blessing and the gratitude, fill yourself with gratitude for the struggle that creates this opportunity for your growth. Then you want to feel as if. You want to ask yourself, what would it look like if I already had this? How would I act? What would I do? How would I carry myself? What would it feel like to feel deeply connected? How would I embody that? And then start acting as if. Then you should trust and detach from the how, the when, the where, the why, and just know that it's going to happen in the perfect way that is meant to be for you, the best way for all involved. Then you're going to identify your core experience. What is the underlying feeling that you really want from this exchange or this thing manifesting? What is it? Do you want companionship? Do you want the feeling of trust? Do you want that feeling of safety? And then with that core experience, notice different ways of how you can bring that about in your life right now. There are plenty of other ways to create more peace in your life. So start nurturing that right now and create rituals to nurture that right now, instead of depending just on that one stream for nurturing that core experience. So those are your 6 steps. And Katie, just so you guys know, Katie was present during my wedding, and she created some beautiful vows for me, and they are phenomenal. So as a gift, she's going to go ahead and share them with you guys right now. Katie, go ahead, my love.
So this is called Trust and Love, and I wrote it on the beach in Kauai. And it is, I look out to the space between where sky and water meet, vastness of turning blue, voice between heartbeats, melody of life, the calming voice sang soft and sweet. My child, I exist in the love of all you see. I stand here now to sing life's song of loving in your hands, Hold softly as the world turns, together seek to understand. How can I do better than I did the day before? How can I show you tomorrow that I love you even more? How can I look into your eyes that you may see how much I care? How can I make sure that you know my love for you is always there? It's in this beauty of moments, the collection we call life, when we stand in eternal knowing, all is, always, all right. Life sang again, so soft and sweet. My love for you is all that's true. There's nothing you must say. There's nothing you must do. Please know how loved you are simply because you're here. There's the same amount of salt in a drop of the ocean as a tear. In this life, there's no coincidence, and in love, there's only innocence. Life sees us through the eyes of heart. It's where each one resides. All that's asked for is your thankfulness. It's all for love. You are alive.
So beautiful. Thank you, Katie. That is phenomenal. And it really does hit on what we're doing here, what we're doing in our love, what we're doing in relationship, and all of the dynamics, the innocence. I love that line. Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much. And you guys, if you would like to rehear that or rehear any part of this segment today, you can find it on Facebook Live. It's recorded. Also, you can go to the KHTS website where you'll find a podcast of its recording. Usually takes about 3 days or so to get up there. So, Katie, before we end today, what I want to ask you is one last question. What, in your eyes, does it take for a relationship to be successful?
I think that one very important thing is to create the life you dream together. So really honoring what you both see for yourself as individuals, supporting each other in creating that. Maybe having time together, if one person loves one thing and the other person loves the other, having one day a week where you do one thing to support what the other loves and vice versa, and just really, cultivating what you both care about and want for your life and creating the life that you dream of together. I also think that having the work that you do is so imperative in assisting people in processing throughout relationships, the things that come up. Having a neutral party as part of it, whether you go to somebody individually or go to somebody together, to sort through what comes up in relationships, because a lot of our relationship is our ego work. We're assigned to each other to bring things up, to sort through them, to come into depths of love. But so often it's easy to blame the other person, and the relationship doesn't last. So really taking the time to work through whatever is coming up without needing to blame anybody, but taking your own responsibility and creating a life of love together, and as a team effort, and working through a process like the one you've created. You're incredible, and it's such an honor to be part of this today. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Katie, so much. So you guys, wherever you're at, the Legendary Love Program integrates the 6 essential elements into your proven system and action plan. Go to jessicahartley.com to find out more.
KHTS
AM 1220
and 98.